morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. This is Dylan with Tucson Future Classics, and that is our 2024 Nissan Ariya Venture Plus. A little bit about this particular Ariya before I talk about the platform as a whole. This one's got right around 27,000 miles, and it is just under 2 years old, having been sold new in May of 2024. It was a one-owner lease return out of Irving, California, and what that means for you, dear watcher, is that this still falls under every single one of Nissan's factory warranties. Yes, even the 3-year, 36,000-mile bumper-to-bumper new car warranty. The Ariya platform as a whole is also a pretty interesting story because Nissan came out with this and introduced it to the States in 2022. This is their first ever clean sheet redesign of an EV since they introduced the original EV, the Leaf, to market back in 2011. And they came at the US mid-size crossover market with everything they had. This being the Venture Plus trim is pretty unique because this is their Range Max version. No other Ariya had as long of legs as this one. It's got a big 87 kilowatt hour battery pack and a single 240 horsepower front wheel drive motor, giving an EPA estimated range of 304 miles. And it fast charges pretty good too. It's got a 130 kilowatt fast charger built into it for CCS level 3, and it can hook up to, with an adapter, any Tesla Supercharger, meaning you can literally go anywhere to pump some electrons back into this thing. And it'll get from 10 to 80% in about 40 minutes, meaning to you, realistically, roughly 200 miles of range gained in that 40 minutes of fast charging, making this a pretty compelling road trip vehicle. And even if you don't want to take it down the highway and take a road trip, 300 miles of range will last you a really long time in urban and suburban driving. So you can really get a lot out of this thing. It's pretty cool inside too, with really interesting interior touches and design cues. So instead of walking around the outside, let's get into it. Under the hood of the Ariya here, you'll notice no frunk, but they did that to push the motor and drive unit as far forward and up as they can to maximize interior space. So everything under here is super easy to understand. You've got your two coolant bottles here and here. Those reservoirs are for your inverter, your drive motors, and your battery pack. This is your 12-volt accessory battery here, your brake fluid reservoir there, and you fill up your windshield washer fluid right here. They kept it super simple. All right, getting into the back of the Ariya. Opens up, big wide opening, and if you really need to put some big stuff in here, pop this, and the seats fold right flat. You also have all three of the rear tether anchors if you need to load a whole gaggle of kids and child seats in the back. The other anchors are up front. I'll show you them in the back seat. But back here for storage, you've got a recessed floor down here. You've got a storage pocket to the left and to the right, and up underneath, while you do not get a spare tire, you get a whole bunch of other stuff. You've got the tire inflator here, the fixed flat goo there. Those are your wheel lock keys to the locking lug nuts. This right here is your at-home, just 110 volt regular wall charger. And in case you want to put one on or live in a state where you need one, this is the factory front license plate bracket. Hop it into the back of the Ariya. You'll see it's got a pretty roomy back seat on it, and where I showed you those anchors before out back for the tethers, these are the bottom anchor points under this Velcro here, running under all three seats if you really need to load the kiddos in. Now, if you ain't got kiddos and you have some friends, it's a pretty good place to be back here. They've got USB-C and USB-A fast chargers, their own vents. You've got pockets behind each seat, and in the door pockets there, you have a little cup holder thing there, space just about right for a big water bottle. And when it comes to space, I'm 6'1", 260 pounds, and this is where I sit to drive and take photos. So that's pretty far back and leaned back a little bit extra. I have got acres of room back here. It's pretty good. Now that I'm hiding from the rain, I'll take you through the driver's seat and everything you're going to interact with every day here in the Ariya. Super simple. You've got power windows, power mirrors, power door locks. The mirrors do fold, good for, tight parking spaces or car washes. Down here is a kind of interesting switch. This controls the headlight level. If you're in the city or on the highway or you have a bunch of weight in the back, this will aim the headlights up or down just a little bit to keep them where you need them. This is your steering assist. It'll turn it on and off for the adaptive cruise control. This is auto hold, which will keep you from rolling if you're not in one pedal driving. And then this will bypass the timer for the charge timer to start charging immediately. Because in the menus on the main screen, which I'll get to in a minute, you can set this to charge at specific times to take advantage of off-peak energy and cheap electricity. Over here, it's got automatic headlights with auto high beams if you so choose. That's that little button on the end there. Center gauge cluster has got, a pretty crisp screen and a lot of menus to go through. Everything from like a moving map, you've got your radio. It'll in real time show you what the Doppler radars on the car are showing for, blind spot monitoring and forward collision stuff. Settings here can go through, there is a ton that you can go through here. So this is a really personalizable vehicle, as a lot of these modern EVs are. And then you've got, your compass, your economy stats showing just how, how good you are at preserving or conserving your electrons. And then back to real-time tire pressures and that moving map. Pretty cool and super easy. You also have radio and infotainment controls here as well. This side here, this is for that smart cruise. This turns on the sensor suite, set and resume your speed here, and this adjusts your following distance to the car in front for the adaptive cruise. It's a pretty clever system. It'll take you down to 0 miles an hour. You just need to prompt it to begin moving again. Here on the main screen, it's got this cool kind of contiguous flowy shape. It's got like a kind of smoked glass screen in a screen look, which, it's pretty decent. So you've got a bunch of stuff in here. If you have notifications come through tied in from your phone, or if there's an over-the-air update for the vehicle, it'll pop up there. This is just your main panel screen showing all your little stuff. And this is the one that everybody cares about right here. Connections. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and Bluetooth. It also does USB line in, which is pretty nice. This map here will show you your estimated driving range, which is super handy. And if you were to plug in like an address in a nav, it'll show you if you need to stop to charge before it and what charger would likely be the most efficient and time-saving to make your journey as easy as it can. Full nav screen is here, and obviously you enter everything on here. It'll parrot it over to this little nav screen here. Media, AM, FM, XM, Bluetooth, USB, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. It's got all the things. So however you want to listen to stuff, you can do it on here. Down below the screen, you've got some simple climate controls, which are haptic feedback buttons set into the bezel. There's no button to touch, but if you just tap it, you'll feel it buzz and it'll make changes. It's pretty cool. It looks good, and it's really remarkably nice to the touch. You also, if you open the big screen, then you can access all of your climate control stuff. But this is just a nice shortcut to everything you'd use on a day-to-day easy access kind of thing. Moving down to the center console, this is your gear control. So you push in a little tab here, forward puts you in reverse, which kicks on the backup camera and the parking assist sonars. If you go down to drive, normal drive, down a second time puts you in B, which gives you stronger regenerative braking to, better save your electricity. Down here, more haptic buttons. E-step engages a mostly one-pedal driving mode, which makes it, take your foot off the brake and it'll really slow you down. And then this is your drive mode buttons here, because you have your standard, your sport, and your eco drive modes. One other cool thing, little scroll top hideaway cup holders here, and put ourselves back in park. Under the center console here is a really nice storage place to keep a phone, so it's out of the sun and it won't overheat while it's running Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. Down below, you have these neat little illuminated touches here in the cab on both driver and passenger doors and underneath. And prepare to get dizzy because I'm spinning you around. But down here under that center console, you have even more chargers, a USB-C fast charger, a USB, and a 12-volt cigarette lighter style outlet. Up here, you've got two big storage cubbies up underneath for keeping, I don't know, just whatever you want. The factory books are buried in the back of the main glove box. Other than that, it's a pretty nice place to be. These cloth seats don't get too terribly hot like leather often will down here in the desert. And yeah, let's get to driving. Windows open, leaving out of the parking garage. We know it's going to be quiet because it's a less than 2-year-old EV with less than 27,000 miles on it, but hey, hearing is believing. The only noise you should hear is the tires on the concrete and the sound that this has to make by law at low speed to, you know, alert pedestrians that an electric vehicle is going by. But I'll shut up so you can open your ears. Actually, I'll do this real quick too. Let's pretend we're going to park right here. I'll show you that sensor suite. Beeps at you when you back up just like a big rig. And let's say you see the lines and the sensors do their thing, but let's say you're not doing that hot of a job backing into a parking space. Like you're getting a little bit close to a pole or something. If you look up here, your parking assist, you hear it chirping at you. It'll beep at you and it'll eventually go red. And that's how you know, like, hey, you should probably reposition. But then you just pull forward, straighten it out, and use those guiding lines over on your main screen to take you right back in it. Super easy. Give you an idea of how quiet this thing is. Windows up, going down, you know, a nice city street. Giving that cyclist some room and even going over the little reflectors there. Not bad at all. Plus, I'm cheating. I have that adaptive cruise running even here on this street. And watch, as this truck brakes, this thing will bring us right on down to 0. Now, granted, I'm making a left here, so it won't know what to do with that. So you got to take over and put your foot on the brake and actually drive the car. But it's a really cool system that works even way down at low speeds. The frontage road, as soon as it's clear, we'll do a quick 0 to 50 to 0, showing full acceleration and full ABS braking, letting you know for certain there's nothing hiding in the suspension or braking system. Now, it's a little slick out today because it's wet, so you're going to hear this thing in sport mode absolutely fighting for traction. It'll do that on dry pavement too, but you'll notice it even more today. 2, 1, let's go. Traction control absolutely fighting to keep the fronts in line. There's 50. Stops good. Out here on the highway, adaptive cruise set. You can see, even though I've got my cruise set speed at 75, it's keeping us at 70 to keep pace behind that Hyundai Santa Fe in front of us. Now, if I change lanes to move behind the Challenger, it'll recognize them move, and that truck, it'll adjust our speed accordingly. And when that green circle locks in, we now are on basically that guided steering where it'll keep you centered in your lane. This is a pretty clever system, and this is purely me demonstrating it. My foot's hovering over the brake, but let's say you're up in your own head and not paying that much attention to the road. See that car that just cut in front of us at the bottom of this ramp? It will panic and reel itself in a full panic stop if it needs to keep you from getting into trouble. Down some really broken up municipal pavement. Just give you an idea, you know, again, I'll shut my mouth so you can open your ears, listen to the suspension with the windows closed, and then I'll turn around and open them up for you. But even over broken pavement, this thing sounds pretty darn good, and is, even for being in, you know, SUV with a bigger cabin, pretty quiet place. Show you two bigger bumps. Manhole cover and a speed bump at a little too quick. Not bad. We are back at our yard, parked in front of EV Row, including a whole nother Ariya, to wrap everything up on this Ariya. If you've liked what you've seen and you want to see and learn more, go to our website, TucsonFutureClassics.com. There you will find the full listing on this vehicle, including a suite of photos, the Carfax vehicle history report, and a written description. I do have to ask, however, when you're ready to come down and check this out in person, we are an appointment-only dealership. We're an operation of about 4 people, so giving us a heads up is crucial so we can make the best introduction of this car to you. To do that, call us, text us, email us, info@TucsonFutureClassics.com, hit us up on Facebook Messenger, or slide into our Instagram DMs. Hopefully, I've been able to tell you everything you could ever want or need to know about the Ariyas to make a decision on them. And if I have done that, well, I've been Dylan. We'll see you soon.